No, everybody just needs to say their name and where they are physically located now during the meeting. Not in a street address, just like Kalamazoo, Saginaw, Los Angeles, whatever.
Well, I'll go first. Dan Kastner, Kalamazoo.
Carla Reganis, Kalamazoo.
Andrew Grayson, Kalamazoo.
Dana Underwood, Kalamazoo.
Okay.
All right. And then I guess that we're going to approve the absences. And it looks like over here, I got do we have any approved absences?
Jeremy.
Yep.
He told me after the last meeting that he would not be here. He's on vacation.
Okay. And I guess, yeah, that's why I'm chair today. Yeah, and bear with me, everyone. My first time being the temporary chair. So, and then do I have anyone that wants to, I guess, what was it, nominate or
Move to approve the absences.
to approve the absences?
I'll move to approve the absences of Jeremy Berg and Eric Stuckey. Is that it?
And I will second that motion. Andrew.
All right. So motion passed.
All in favor? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Yeah, so that motion is passed. Are there any additions to the agenda?
No, there are no changes to the agenda.
And are there any guests that need to be introduced that are outside of the people on the docket tonight? All right, then are there any public comments on non-agenda items?
No public comments at this time.
And then Sharon, would you read the disclaimers?
Disclaimer. Yep. Chapter 16, Section 22 of the City of Kalamazoo Code of Ordinance states, historical preservation is a public purpose. To serve that purpose, the Historic District Commission is hereby charged with the following responsibilities. The Kalamazoo Historic District Commission is empowered to regulate work on the exterior of historic resources and non-historic resources in historic districts in the City of Kalamazoo, and shall otherwise have all powers invested in historic district commissions pursuant to the Local Historic Districts Act, MCLA 399.201, 1970, PA 169 as amended 1992. B, to regulate work on resources which, by city ordinance, are historic or non-historic resources located within local historic districts, including but not limited to the moving of any structure into or out of, or the building of any structure in an historic district. The following documents are available in the Community Planning and Economic Development Department located at 245 North Rose Street. These documents will help assist property owners in understanding the responsibilities of owning property in a local historic district. MCLA 399.201, 1970, PA 169 as amended 1992, the Michigan Local Historic District Act, the Code of Ordinances of the City of Kalamazoo, Michigan, Chapter 16, Historic District, the Secretary of the Interior Standards for Rehabilitation and Guidelines for Rehabilitating Historic Buildings, 1990, Standards and Guidelines for Kalamazoo Historic Districts, and maps of Kalamazoo's local historic districts. These documents and maps are available on the City of Kalamazoo website at kalamazooCity.org/historic preservation.
Yeah, thank you, Sharon. That we don't have to prove that, right?
Okay.
All right, so I guess we're going to move on to old business then.
Yep. And so I wanted to talk about this. This is a case that the commissioners have been dealing with since March. It's a case of what is called demolition by neglect of a house located at 816 Normal Court. The city has cited the owner. It's been a long story. The owner has applied to actually get approval for the work he plans to do, and he plans to do it according to the architect's drawings that were prepared last February. in February of 2020. And he has made application to a bank for a loan to be able to pay for the work to be done. And since the house is substantially changed, what I would like the commission to consider is that the work that comes in the future, if he gets his funding to take care of it, will be handled by the coordinator as administrative approvals. And to allow that to happen, what the commission would need to do today is to declare that this building is now a non-contributing resource in the local historic district. That means that enough has been altered about it, including the changing of the windows, the siding, and other things that have happened to it, that is no longer considered a contributing building in the historic district. And that would mean that any further work that is done on it could be regulated by the staff in the building department and the coordinator without bringing it back to the commission each time.
That would be from here too. That would.
On that, Sharon, would that disqualify the owner for the historic tax credits that are going to be available?
Yes, it probably would. In their opinion, now it might be possible that the tax credit people would consider that he would still be eligible, but it would allow the decision-making process to go forward with, because in the original survey that established the historic district, this was considered a contributing building. Okay, so this is a status change just to allow the coordinator to be able to make the decisions as the money comes in and he can do the work so that it can proceed at the quickest pace possible. So it's possible that he might still be eligible to use the tax credit next year. Yes. But I'm not sure how much value that would have to him because he doesn't earn an awful lot of money.
All right.
So that would be,
I have a couple of questions.
yes.
So Sharon, I know you do a fair amount of administrative approval on a variety of buildings that are contributing structures in the district. So why would it be that with this particular structure, we wouldn't be able to delegate further decision-making to you without changing its status as a contributing structure in the district?
You're at Andrew, and it could be done either way. It could either be as a non-contributing building, or you could just, delegate that responsibility for the changes, because essentially the work has already been approved by previous commissions.
Right.
Repairing the windows has been approved. Putting the siding up has been approved. The other things that need to be done have already been approved by the commission. So it could be just as well as either make it a non-contributing building or just delegate any further work that needs to be done, unless something really large, like somehow he gets the money to put an addition on the rear. Unless something like that happened, then it would just be delegated to the coordinator, and that would be fine too. And that would leave him wide open for the possibility of using the tax credit.
So, okay, so that was one question. And I guess my second thing is not so much a question. I guess it's more a comment. I would be, so thinking about this earlier today, I was wondering, I mean, I know that there's no such thing as like a legal precedent or anything in the decisions that we make that have an impact on doing something else. However, I don't love the image of a precedent, perhaps you could say, of the idea that you could allow a house to go into disrepair and or alter it so much that it no longer is a contributing structure to sort of, I know that there's sometimes an image of the historic district as a burden on homeowners.
Right.
And I don't love the idea that this might, there's part of me that read this and thought, okay, this kind of feels like, and maybe I'm wrong, and I'm willing to hear an alternative perspective on this, but that it feels a little like saying, if you change something enough and are willing to kind of, take the finger wagging that we give, saying, oh, you shouldn't have done that, you can turn your house into a non-contributing structure simply by halfway destroying it. So that was my thought on this was simply, I would love to see an alternative opportunity to assign you the ability to make administrative approvals on the home, given that we've had a lot of discussion about it. And I don't think we need to spend a ton more time talking about it, but I don't personally, I was feeling a little bit funny about the idea of turning it into a non-contributing structure, unless that was the only way to allow you to do that.
No, it's not absolutely it's entirely within the commission's purview, especially because there have been, the work that needs to be done has already been approved by the commission. It'd just be a matter of reactivating existing certificates of appropriateness. So really, I really appreciate that comment, Andrew, because I think that would probably be the most productive way and the least perception of precedent setting.
So can I
Right.
ask this then, how did this end up as a proposal on the agenda? What was the thrust behind the idea of doing this instead of my suggestion?
I was reading our standards for non-contributing buildings and rereading it, and I realized that it said, in all cases, the primary focus for review of exterior work on non-contributing buildings will be in evaluating the impact of the proposed work on the surrounding historic buildings. All proposed work on the exterior of the building will be reviewed administratively, except for demolition, new construction, or additions which increase the enclosed volume of the existing non-historic building by more than 20%. So I read that and I thought, okay, if it's non-contributing, then I can just, the coordinator could just take care of it. But to be honest, I really, really like your approach much better, because that means that if we need to, we can kick it back upstairs to the commission. If something comes up that really does need to be reviewed by the full commission, then we can kick it back upstairs. And we won't have that limit of only major alterations would have to go back to the commission. So I would revise the possible motion to say that
approve the work as
specified in the application, and then take out that
renovations is still a contributing building in the South Street Vine Area Historic District, and delegate all additional approval to the Historic Preservation Coordinator. Would that be an appropriate?
That would work beautifully, yes.
Motion? Okay. So I want to make sure that people get an opportunity to have a discussion if there needs to be some, but I'd be willing to make that motion. I'll put that out there.
Well, if we get a second, we can continue on with the discussion.
I'll second it. I'll
Okay.
second the motion. Dana.
All right. Do we want to put it up to a vote first or have discussion?
No, discussion first.
So I was going to say, Andrew, that point of view is great. And you're right. Like, we would be rewarding someone totally destroying the historical, importance of their property, and then rewarding them by taking them off of the list. And then they have no responsibilities at all. And then by doing that also, we take away our power for being able to, have a say in things. And then also that precedent, like you were saying, Sharon, that the commission has already approved what is being proposed again here. So in this situation, I think, yeah, the way that you would be then wording this is much more appropriate. And basically, we've already made the decision on this previously that we approve what is going to be done anyways.
Well, and also, I don't even like the idea of framing a house's loss of historic preservation status as a reward, right? Like in part, the benefit is you have the status, and that hopefully we'll have this tax credit too. So since these are recorded and people sometimes look at them, I just want to make the point that I think that we are actually probably doing the homeowner a favor by retaining the historic status of the home, and therefore making it probably a little bit easier if there are tax credits available for them to use them, given that resources are challenged here.
I agree completely. And I use the term reward basically with what the goal that the homeowner is looking for, and rewarding their bad behavior with the answer that they're looking for, even though it's not in their long-term best interest.
Right.
I'd like to add one thing. I also think once you take it out, once you make it a non-contributing, it's non-contributing no matter who the owner is. So we're all assuming that it's always going to be Mr. Wise before us, but he could sell the house and sell the property, and there could be a whole new set of designs on it.
Good point. Good point.
Okay, so if, is there any more discussion on it, or would you like to make a proposal, Andrew?
So I think we can vote now. It's been moved and seconded, so I think we can, do we do a roll call vote on this one, Sharon?
Yes. Yep.
Andrew,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Dana. Dana,
I think she's frozen.
Carla,
Yes.
Dana? Dana? There you go.
Yes. I have an unstable internet connection.
So, so moved and
And
approved.
it passes. Yep. Nice. Nice. Excellent. Thank you, Andrew. I really appreciate that. I think you thought it through a lot more deeply than I did.
Okay, then I guess moving on to the only new business agenda item we have.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about this a little bit, and then I'm going to turn it over to the building owners to talk about it some more. This is a building in the West Main Hill Historic District. Originally, it was probably just this small cottage back here, kind of. And then additions went on. This is the third generation as dentists in that building. Is that right?
Yes.
And so it's not considered a contributing resource because at the time that the West Main Hill Historic District was established, the changes were not yet 50 years old. So it was not considered a contributing building. Now it would be considered mid-century modern and pretty cool. So, but seriously. So what the owners would like to do is to remove the garage. It's beginning to pull away from the house. There are some other structural issues with it. And they want, then after that's done, they want to reside all the parts of the existing building that are not currently the permastone, the stone siding that's on it. So the three things that want to be done is take the garage off, reside all of the wooden parts of the house, replace the two windows in this little dormer, and add some vertical beadboard siding in the front gable. So that's the proposal. Oh, more pictures. Here we go. And Dr. Ostrin's explained to me why there's two sets of doors. So. So do you guys have any questions for the applicants? And we've also got Anthony Grunstrom is here from Tishner. They're going to actually be doing the work.
So Sharon, I'm assuming that the garage would, like you said that it was not considered a contributing structure because the changes that were made were less than 50 years old at the time that a district was created.
Yep.
How old is the garage?
I'm thinking probably about the same age as the house, because you said originally it was a detached garage.
That's correct.
Yeah. So probably, and I'm guessing the best date this is one of those wonderful ones that you go into the city database and it says there's no date. So I'm guessing based on the style and the surrounding houses that it's probably something in the mid 1930s, maybe earlier, maybe even as late as the late 20s.
Okay.
So, but it's very, very much altered, very much altered. So
Sure, I can see that. I think it's as of the garages we've seen that needed to be likely torn down. I'll just note, I think it's cool that it's kind of got that little center stack in the middle, and it looks interesting, but I can understand that if it's not a contributing structure and it's been significantly altered and it's already starting to pull away from the structure and isn't contributing to the owner's use of the property, I would understand the need to remove it.
Yes.
Pardon me, sorry for my tardiness. reports. I'm to understand that the siding is proposed that they will remove the clapboard and put on the stone facade. Is that correct?
No, the stone is already there. What they're gonna put on is vinyl siding.
Oh, to
Over the
fill
wood.
in vinyl, I see. Okay,
Right,
so they're
yeah.
not trying to match all the stone.
Oh, no, that's,
Okay. Okay. And then my main question on that would be, is this a two-phase project? The garage comes down and then next year or in 2 years, they apply for an addition or something?
For an addition? No.
Yeah, so it's like a two-phase, let's tear it down now and then that's later, let's apply for an addition to it. Is this a project that's thinking down the road?
No, we actually need the additional parking space.
I see.
Yeah, we always have, we have very limited parking space for patients. And I think myself as the doctor, I'm gonna probably be parking there, and maybe my hygienist that's been here for 20 years, so.
I see.
Yeah. So we just kind of need the space. And then also, we were thinking of having like a matching fence that we already have, like a privacy fence back there, and
Mhm.
have space for like a staff lunch area for outdoors.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I have a question for you, Sharon. And are we allowed to approve vinyl siding if wood siding is the original siding material?
Yes, on non-contributing resources, yes. Yep, just think of like the, when someone builds a new garage, they're allowed to use vinyl siding. When Habitat builds a new house, they can use vinyl siding, so yes.
If no one else has any questions, Sharon, could you scroll just to show us what the suggested
Motion.
actions are?
And there we go.
Is everyone done with discussion on this? Any other questions?
Done.
I'm good.
Okay, well then, does anyone want to make a motion to approve?
I'm happy to. I would move to approve the demolition of the garage, installation of vinyl siding over the wood on the house, board and batten siding in the front and west gable, and replacement of the pair of windows in the south dormer as specified. The plan substantially complies with the Secretary of Interior standards. Numbers 9 and 10. The commission approves the certificate of appropriateness for this project. Approval of any final details to be delegated to the Historic Preservation Coordinator.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Dana. Should we do a roll call vote on it?
Okay, we'll go. Dana, good. Andrew,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Carla,
Yes.
and Eric.
Yes.
Approved.
Yep, there we go. Good. So what happens now is that tomorrow, when I'm in the office and I can actually print things and mail things, I will print the letter, the approval letter, and I'll send a copy to Tishner by email and to you guys. And then you're ready to go ahead and pull your building permits and demo permits and anything else you need to do.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank
And
you all.
Thank you
you all.
for cleaning the garage.
Thank you. Are we okay to log off now or?
Pam. Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Do we have any other new business?
Nope.
All right.
If I may, real quick, I just wanted to let you know that there was no public comment for that item, as well as the item 7 as well. No public comment.
Nice. Thank you.
Does anyone want to approve the minutes?
I'll move to approve the minutes of the May 18th meeting.
Thanks, Dana. Any seconds?
I'll second that.
I guess we can do a voice vote on
Yep.
that.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed?
Oh, aye.
Sorry,
Any opposed? Okay, so approved. Yeah, I mean, do we have any other business
I
or?
don't think so. Let me get up to my actual agenda and see, but I think that is it. This house is sold to my coworker.
Oh.
So I'm gonna be involved with advising and helping that project go forward. I am having a meeting on the 23rd of June with the State Historic Preservation Office specifically about the tax credit. So I will probably be sending out an email update for everybody to know what the status of that is and how it's going. Because that's going to be one of the most wonderful tools that we will ever have to help convince people to do it the right way, to take care of their historic homes the way that the commission wants them to. And I think that's about it.
Sharon, if you can quickly fill me in on what's going on with the Stewart House and the next block of Stewart.
It's for those of you who don't live in Stewart, the Stewart House is the home of Senator Stewart, our first senator from Michigan that went to Washington, D.C. And it is owned by a former historic district commissioner who is allowing his nephew to supposedly work on the house and use the house. And there's been a lot of problems with the fact that he appears to be repairing cars there and that kind of thing. So the enforcement team is keeping an eye on it, and the neighborhood association really would like something more to be done. The house is most of the time closed to casual entry, but every so often someone will get in and go running around it. It's a very large white house opposite Woodward School almost. It's got a state historical marker in the front yard. And I'm in the process of trying to get a hold of the owner and just kind of find out what's happening with him, because he owns that house and the Todd House, which if you're going down Oak Street and you don't stop at the stop sign at South Street, you run right into the front porch of the Todd House. So these are two of probably the most historically important houses in Kalamazoo, and he owns both of them. And his nephew and family is living in the Todd House. And then they're doing other things as yet undetermined with the other house. So that's all I know right now. I know that the enforcement inspector is stopping by. She says she drives by at least every day and takes a look. When I was there a few days ago, late last week, Friday, a tow truck actually pulled in with a car and took it up to the garage, the carriage barn. So I'm not sure what's happening besides that, but I'm going to see if I can get a hold of Dick and get the story from him too and see what's happening.
Thank you.
There was a public comment in the general box that came through. I can play that if you would like.
Yes, please.
Sure. I think Sharon, you'll have to stop sharing your screen so I can share audio.
Done.
Great, thank you.
Hello, my name is Benjamin Stanley, city resident. I'm trying to leave a message for the historic preservation or historic, I don't know, the board meeting that's going on right now. And I heard you guys talking about tax credits for historic homes. I live in a historic home, and I was trying to figure out how to get the tax credit when I was filing my taxes this year, and it proved to be a absurdly difficult thing, so I just didn't do it. Do you guys provide assistance in any way for people that are trying to apply for that credit and be able to use it? As you were saying, being a historic home is an asset for that particular reason. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Okay, I've got his phone number and email, and I will give him a call and update him on what's happening.
He basically couldn't file for it yet, right? Because it comes.
Correct. No, nobody can. So, yeah. And if you had applied, geez, I don't know, probably you're past that point. There's no way you could still be using a tax credit from the last round. So, but it still shows up on some of the forms. When you do TurboTax, it says, are you eligible for the Michigan Historic Preservation Tax Credit? And, the answer is no, nobody's eligible for it right now, but that'll change again next year. So I will just update him. And right now I am putting together the next Historic District Commission newsletter, and I'm leaving the front page so that I can just make it all about the tax credit. So hopefully everybody will be updated on that after I have this meeting at the end of the month.
Awesome.
So.
Good.
Okay. Is there any other business before we vote to adjourn?
I'll move to adjourn the meeting.
Anyone second?
Second? Oh, second. Mhm.
Roll call vote.
No, it just
Okay. Yeah.
passes. Yep. So we're good. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Time for dinner.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.